Hello and welcome to the latest Power On channel video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this quite attractive concrete lamp. Now I originally called it Cleave Light because it looked like a hatchet had cleaved through the concrete. However, on reflection it looks more like a leek, as in, a leek plant. So maybe I should rename it. What do you reckon? Anyway, let's not worry about the name. Let's get started. Now, before I go into the demonstration of how to make the lamp, I just thought I'd say it took me quite a few goes to get the concrete casting to work. I have to say that some of my attempts were epic failures, and I'm not going to show those issues and problems I had in this video. However, I have put that in a separate video that I'll upload after this one. That's if you're interested. So, this video is all about how to do it right, and that all starts with a set of designed and printed 3D parts. Here in this 3D render you can see the 3D printed parts are in blue and they're all mounted onto a piece of wood to support them. The white piece in the middle is actually a pipe and it's a standard piece of PVC pipe. To create this subassembly there's a bit of preparation which involves gluing, sanding, but it's not difficult and it's probably going to take you around about an hour or so to complete. Once we have all the parts together, we can start the first step of the casting process by mixing a small amount of concrete. I've used standard builder's concrete here, which in comparison to most project materials is very cheap, actually under $10 for a whole bag of this stuff. Just add water to create a typical mix, that is, not too dry and not too runny. It's fairly straightforward and the mix will remain usable for at least half an hour or so. Now, it's at this point I'm going to hand over to the video commentary that I did at the time. I've tried to be quite comprehensive and include all the steps, so feel free to fast forward the video at any point, or, if you prefer, go grab a cup of coffee, sit down, relax, and just enjoy watching me getting my hands dirty. I'll put a few drops of oil in here just to hopefully improve the ease with which I can get it out of the mould. Try and stop the concrete sticking. Just a little bit more, I think. Whoops, a bit too much. Dab the excess out there. Okay. Start by putting the mixture actually in the bottom without the tube in position. Just make it easy to get the concrete into the bottom of the tube. Whoops. Beginning to slump a little bit down here. What I think I'll do is I'll get these in now. Not too worried about the positioning of these. Of course it's a little bit tricky to get in. But, get those in, and then I'll give it another tap. Or maybe what I should do, I thought about this earlier, I might just even out the angle of the dangle, possibly propping up one end, maybe not quite as much as that though. I think that's as good as I can get it. Of course the mould looks pretty grotty now. Hopefully it can get reused a few times. Oops. Really don't want to be touching that too much. Okay, so it's been about 3 days. It's obviously not fully cured off, but it should be okay to take out the mould. I can see some little cracks appearing here, so yeah, hopefully it's not going to be too bad. I might just sort of scrape this back. I guess a little bit of fettling might need to be required at various locations. I'll remove these first, see whether the raw plugs. Yeah, I've got a bit of a blip there. The reactions just sucked it up a little bit. Hopefully that's not too much of a drama when the two halves come back together. Now, next thing, I wonder how easy this is to remove. I might just try a twist action first. Oh yeah, that's okay. I'm going to pull it out from that side. I guess we can see the difference in the curing rates there. Try and remove this end piece. That was the idea I had in my head anyway. And I can always remove this end piece by removing that screw as well. Obviously, if it comes this way, it will be good. So yeah, let's try and remove those screws. Oh, I can see that move already. Okay. Alrighty. Well, that doesn't look too bad for a first attempt, or rather, well, first attempt in this mould at least. But yeah, that probably just needs it to cure off a little bit more. But I might try and cast the second piece straight away. And I can pop this actually on top wet, so we get these two halves to join together, and so it doesn't really matter too much about these little bits of edges here. Let's see if we can't do that. So I've got things back together again and cleaned things up, but what I noticed in putting it back together, which wasn't too difficult really, but this end piece here hasn't really mated as well as it could do. This is a nice real tight joint at the back here. I've got a really nice, well-defined edge, whereas this top edge, apart from I've got quite a big occlusion here, the edge isn't quite as well defined. So I've just jammed this piece of wood in here rather than using the screw, and so I'm hoping to get a bit tighter joint there. Still a bit of flex in there, but I guess that's the nature of the shape. Anyway, given a redesign, I'd probably make this end piece a bit larger, and rather than single holes, maybe just put a slot in there so you can slide it up against this end face here, make it a bit easier. But you'll see what I mean when I get this in. Hopefully I can get this together, because this first piece does in fact go down on top of there quite nicely. Obviously need to match it up to the end face. So I'll be filling this base first, and then the last thing I'll do is to drop this on and get it located, and hopefully those 4 roll plugs will then cast into the second half. Okay, let's get that done. Well, I think that's about it. Just need to wait for it to go off. Another 3 days. Now it's been a few days, and this should have cured off enough for me to remove it from the mould. In case of how easy is it to do though. Not too sure what to do right. It would be useful actually if I could take the screws out of here, but they're underneath the pipe. Maybe if I can release. Oh, no, that's tight in there. Let's see if I can break the seal. Oh yeah. I wonder if I can draw this pipe towards me. Now, I think I've done it enough to get to the screw on this end. Now, maybe if I remove this wedge, possibly. That's good. again I can remove the actual end piece. Should just lift out. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? I really need to get these screws sort of outside here. That would make it a lot easier. Maybe I'll change the design. So I can't really get to that. I'm going to have to push that through. Let me have a think about this. I managed just to rotate this pipe and just push it back through here. A little less than ideal, but I think that's got me enough room now. Pop these two screws out. So just remove that. And then we have the completed article. That's looking reasonably good. So I think I'll proceed to remove the tube. And there we have the finished article. I think it needs a little bit of finishing off, maybe get some sandpaper on this. And I mean, I don't want to deliberately pull this apart, but hoping that these are nicely joined with those two roll plugs in there. Unfortunately, a slight offset in the base. Again, might look to it's flat on that side, completely square. Maybe that just needs chipping off there. Yeah, not bad for a first attempt. So I've got some 100 grit sandpaper here. I'm not too sure what's the best. Okay, so there we have it, finished and ready to go. Not bad for our first attempt with that particular mould. So we now need to complete the lamp by doing the base and the wiring for the base. So let's have a look at that. Just put that to one side. I'll bring this pre-assembled base that I've put together. The base is in two parts. We've got the lamp holder part and we've got the base part. The base part I've spray painted with a couple of coats of metallic spray. I've experimented with a couple of colours, both this metallic spray and the blue, which I'll show you in a moment. Now in terms of the lamp, I've given you two models for this centre part here, a shorter one like this and a slightly longer one. That's really going to depend on the type of lamp that you're going to use. This is a little bit taller, so we'll sit a little bit further up. The other one is a golf ball shaped lamp, and that will obviously need to be brought up a little bit. Now in terms of the lamp holder itself, I've just got one of these off eBay. We don't need this flange, we just need the inner part, and the inner part has got the base. I'll unscrew that in a minute, but basically that slips up just about into there. It's quite a tight fit, making sure, so I say yes, it really is quite a little, just a bit of a tight fit, which is good. And yeah, the wiring is fairly straightforward, so let's get on with that. So For the wiring, we're using this lamp holder which comes apart into a number of pieces. I've got a cable gland here which actually didn't come with a lamp holder. I had to find a separate supplier of these. Got that a little bit cross-threaded there. And the cable that I'm using is fabric covered cable. In this case it's the grey to match the sort of silver base. This will go through the cable gland and be terminated in the live and the neutral. The earth will be chopped off because it's not an earth device. The cable itself passes through the side, if I can just get this through here. So this fabric cover cable is a little bit frayable, for want of a better expression, but once it's terminated, obviously it won't fray. That goes through the base and will get terminated in the lamp holder. The lamp holder will then get pulled back down into the base. A small amount of silicone or epoxy on the circumference here, and that will then hold this lamp holder in the base so that when you attach or detach a lamp, it doesn't rotate and twist the wires inside. As for the other end, of course, that's for your plug. Now, rather than showing you the wiring, which would be rather long and boring, I'll just pull in one which I finished earlier. And this one is painted in a nice sort of powder blue. I've even painted the plug. And also you'll notice, if I just pull those across to compare them, one is the short lamp holder, one is the long lamp holder. You may want to choose which one to use depending on what type of lamp that you can have or get hold of. In terms of assembly, it's nothing simpler than just grabbing the concrete part, and one goes inside the other, and you simply stand it up. A little bit difficult under the camera here, but you can just see the lamp at the bottom there. I have decided not to permanently connect the concrete casting to the base. I can't really think of a good reason to do that. I can think of a good reason not to do that, and obviously that's in terms of replacing the lamp at some stage. It's a little bit top heavy, but it's not unstable. You might want to be careful just about maybe small children or dogs or things like that, but no, it's not going to fall over. There is, as I say, about 2 kilos of weight bearing down, and it's quite a nice stable base. So that about covers all the constructional details for this. So I hope you liked watching me put it together. I've certainly had a lot of fun certainly making the castings, learned quite a bit about concrete in the meantime, and yeah, the result's not too bad. What do you think?